Dreamcast. I am your host, Denise Walsh. I combine science, scripture, and stories that will inspire you to dive deep, break through your own personal glass ceiling, and design a life of your dreams. Dreamcasters, I'm so excited to personally invite you to my first live event of 2019. Save the date for Dream Space, January 13th in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You are invited. I would love to have you join us. Not only will you hear from myself and other special guests, but you'll have space to dream, space to heal, space to break through your own personal glass ceiling. Connect with what it is you truly want most. Connect with your life's purpose and then create an inspired action plan so you can start taking steps in that direction. We're going to end the night with a come as you will be party. This means that we're pretending like it is the year 2024 and coming dressed as the person that you want to be in 5 years. Oh my gosh, we're going to have lots of talk time to help you prepare for this event, but I know that this full day workshop experience is going to be life-changing for you, and I want you there. Space is limited and it will sell out. So go to dreamlifetoolkit.com to get your Dream Space ticket today. Big welcome back to the Dreamcast. I am super excited to start the year off strong with you. And not only are we going to recap 2018, you're going to hear my word and story for 2019. But in this 100th episode of the Dreamcast, we are going to end with a giveaway. So to be entered into the giveaway, all I need you to do is go to iTunes, leave a review, and I can actually sort the reviews by date. And anyone who leaves a review between, let's see, pull up my calendar here, the 3rd through the 10th of January, you will be entered to win a 30-minute coaching call from me to celebrate the 100th episode. So when you go to iTunes and leave a 5-star review, share with me your favorite parts about the Dreamcast, maybe what topics you would like me to cover this next year, and then a way that I can get a hold of you, whether it's your Facebook URL or an email or something. So that way, when you win, I can easily connect with you. So, all right, I'm going to mention that again at the end, but in this episode, I am going to share with you a few things I learned in 2018 and then my goals for 2019. Now, to be honest, I have been procrastinating doing this episode because I've been waiting for inspiration to come over me and to, flow out of me. And to be honest, 2018 was an interesting year. I had some really fun things happen, and then I also had some disappointments. And I don't know about you, but when you've had disappointments, it can be really easy to only remember them. It's like our memory defaults to the sad moments. It's probably because there's so much emotion tied to it. But not only did I wasn't thinking about the fact that none of my family was in the hospital. We were all very healthy this year. Nobody had stitches or got hurt. There were no blowout fights. We have very loving home, stable relationships. We've been able to travel and grow, and our team is growing. And, all of these amazing things are happening this year. Both my boys are in school, which means that I am at home and getting to work throughout the day without distractions. I love picking my boys up from school and hearing their chitter chatter on the way home. So many awesome things happen this year, and I'll get into more as well. But I think sometimes it's easy to forget the normal stuff, to forget the normal day-to-day blessings that we all experience because there may be less emotion tied to it. When I started reviewing this past year, what did I think of? I thought about the tears that I shed when I realized that the Dream Life Workbook was going to have to get completely redone. I remember driving downtown to meet up with a friend, just like tears rolling down my face and saying, I accept and I'm willing for the new team of people to come into my life, because I felt like I was doing this all by myself and I didn't have anyone to support or help me. I remember just times when I felt like I was hitting my head against the wall and not moving forward. And why do I remember those times? Because they're heaped in emotion, and that's when our memory can get clouded. So when I took a step back and I started actually writing out and being intentional with what I choose to remember, I decided over the last year, I'm going to have a miracle memory, because here's the deal. My word for 2018 was greater, and it came from the verse that said, we are designed or created to do greater things than these. And so I was expecting miracles all year long. And even though there were some disappointments and some shifts and some changes I didn't expect, I'm choosing to have my memory focus on the miracles that I did experience. I'm choosing to have a miracle memory, to focus my memory on the miracles that did happen. Yes, the day-to-day joys, families, bath times, bedtime, community, love, support that we have. But in the learning curves and the breakthroughs and the personal healing journey that I experienced. So my miracle memory of 2018 is this. Here's my list. Okay, so what did I learn in 2018? First of all, we've done a year of podcasting, which meant I got to learn how to edit audio, how to work with a podcast editor, how to find and connect with awesome guests who can bring you the most value possible. We've been consistently uploading 1 to 2 podcasts a week for a year, creating promo pictures and audiograms, posting on the Dreamcast Instagram page and posting consistently on Facebook, and, creating the marketing tools that were surrounding each and every episode. I got to connect with my friend who is helping me with show notes and learn how to do all of this stuff, right? So the podcast has been a huge learning curve for me this year. I then did 90 days of consistent uploads on YouTube, which meant that I got to put YouTube on my calendar. There were days when I scheduled, I would record 3 to 7 YouTube videos, and then I would edit them minimally, because remember, I'm learning all of this myself, create thumbnails for them, think about titles that would grab people's attention, create lists of ideas and content, and then schedule them to be released. And so what that allowed me to do is, number one, get creative in what I can share in 3 to 10 minutes that's helpful and focused for a listener. It helped me to get consistent on uploading to YouTube and creating community there, which I think is so super special, because on YouTube people can find me, right? The podcast is a great place to create and binge listen and allow, and it's a really good spot for people to go, and they have everything organized. YouTube is a searchable engine, so that's a really cool place for people to find us and connect with us, because they're searching specifically. So I did 90 days of consistent uploads, and I learned that you could have really good content, but that means that people need to still find you. So then I bought an e-course from, Sunny Lenduzarzy, something like that, and learned all about YouTube keywords and tags and how to specifically position your video to actually get found, not only with content creation, like finding topics people are already searching for, but then how to speak about it, connect with the keywords. Goodness, you guys, there is a whole thing about YouTube tags, keywords, and really creating content that people will find. Let's see. Oh my goodness. We launched the journal. So although the workbook needs to be redone and is going to be redone, we decided to redo the journal more quickly, and we got the journal launched in October of 2018. And this has been a really cool and exciting thing for me to be a part of. Number one, having a book on Amazon, that's an adventure. Learning how to create it so it's compatible and all, it's all a learning curve. So we learned how to put a book on Amazon. We've learned how to market it. We've learned how to talk about it. We created the Dream Life Action Planner as a freebie for people so that we could get them into conversation. And then the journal is the how to execute on a daily basis. Our It Works team is growing and thriving. And I love connecting with them every single day on our team pages, groups, and calls. And I have my first live event in January. In just a few weeks. It's called Dream Space. And this is my first personal development workshop type event where we can take all of this material and then do it together now in the Dream Space. So, you guys, isn't it so silly that I could spend time thinking about what didn't happen? That I could spend time thinking about how far I thought I'd be? How I can spend time thinking about anything negative when in fact so much amazing creation, duplication, connections, explosions, miracles have happened this past year. Now, one miracle, I'd like to call it, actually happened personally, because here's what I was experiencing this year. I was super head set on making this material for you. I had a brewing in my belly, where I was like, I've got to get this content out of me because it will help so many people achieve their own goals. And I had to get it out, right? It was brewing. That's how I felt all year, just this brewingness. And I was excited about it, and I was working on it, and I was focused on it. But I also had some hurts this year. Emotionally, I was mad at the designer, right? I also had some friends that kind of left without saying anything, and I felt hurt by that. And so even though my mind was really focused on where I was going, my heart, you guys, was sad, and it was discouraged, and it was kind of in the past, when your heart and emotions are lingering. Even as much as I wanted to headstrong plow through it, my heart was 3 steps behind. And what I learned this past year, and it's probably the most important thing I have ever learned, to be honest, is that we cannot create when our emotions are 3 steps behind. And so what I had to do, or what I got to do, I guess, was really accept the experience, the hurt, the sadness, the frustration, accept it a bit and say, all right, this is my truth. This is how I feel. Now what? And if you've been on this journey with me this past year, you've kind of seen me go through this emotional desire, creation, excitement, roadblock, what the heck is going on kind of experience. And so when I finally said, all right, this is my truth. I was hurt. I'm mad, whatever. Now what? I went to the people that I was frustrated with, and I rekindled relationships. I forgave on purpose. I basically worked through it with them, or at least told them how I was feeling, and offered forgiveness. And it was in that forgiveness of truly, I spent time grieving, I spent time crying, I spent time sad, but then I had to spend time healing. And when I forgave, I felt this freedom that I didn't have to ruminate about the past. I didn't have to do something in spite of or despite them, or feel like they're my haters, or, I'm going to rock this out anyway. No. I really felt free. The forgiveness and the act of forgiving and really healing and working through my emotional strings that were holding me back allowed me to create and experience the how, show up in amazing ways towards the end of the year. We talk about this a lot in the dream space, or we will, and you'll be able to see parts of it afterwards. We're getting it videotaped. I'm super excited. But the emotional strings that we all have towards hurts, towards people, towards our past, hold us back And it's like we could try really, really hard to hone in and focus and eyes down and retrain our brain and go get what we want and, that kind of thing. But it's kind of like when you are going down a hill in your car with the emergency brake on. You can try harder, but you're not going to go that much faster, or it's going to feel hard. It's not going to feel easy when your emergency brake's on. The act of forgiveness is kind of like releasing the emergency brake. For me, I felt that this year when I grieved and when I chose to heal and when I chose to verbally forgive and let go and move on in my heart space. It was like releasing the brake. And things started moving faster, and things started being more effortless, and things started working out better than I expected. And opportunities came and people came, and oh my gosh, you guys, I don't know what hurts you have over this past year, or maybe over the past decade. But as much as we like to pretend like it doesn't impact us today, there may be emotional strings holding you, tethering you to the past, just like it did me this year. What I've learned this past year is that it's, yes, you become what you think about, but it's even more, you become what you're feeling. Like you become what your heart's thinking about. Our heart are the biggest thinking organ in our body. It reminds me a bit about Care Bear Stare. You remember that show? It's like what we radiate from our heart center is even stronger than our brain. And so even though I was like determined to mentally conquer this, right? Because I emotionally was still 3 steps behind, momentum was not created. Once I let go, once I healed, once I broke or got rid of those emotional strings, the how could figure itself out. Because emotionally, I'm in the here and now again. Emotionally, I'm 3 steps ahead and connected to my personal vision again. And personally, emotionally, I'm excited and connected to what's here and what's to come. It's so crazy to me just how powerful forgiveness truly is. And if there's anyone or any situation that's bubbling up for you right now as I talk about this, then that might be an area for you to journal. And it might be an area for you to release. And it might be an area for you to choose forgiveness. Maybe it's towards yourself. Maybe it's towards another. Maybe it's towards a situation. But I can tell you, my friends, when that emotional block is released, so much more is open to you. We create what we command. And that command is often coming from our heart. So when I've been thinking about, all right, well, what's up for this next year? This was a lot of emotional shifts for me this past year. Lots of learning, lots of, not knowing what I'm doing and then working to figure it out and Googling and searching and connecting. So I asked God to show me what is in store, like what is my word for 2019? What's my theme for this year? And so I spent several hours one day in my war room, just like listening to meditation music and reading the Bible and journaling and really kind of waiting for the thing to pop up at me. And 2 things did. Now I have to tell you, they didn't come like blaring with trumpets, but they came and I went, oh, interesting. And the more that I let it settle in, those were the things that came back up. And so these are the 2 verses or 2 stories I'm going to choose to focus on for this next year. Now, this first one was funny. So I don't always do this, but this time I was like, geez, Holy Spirit, I have no idea what you want, where I should go this next year. Please help me. And I just opened the Bible up. So I prayed and then I opened the Bible up and I read the first thing that was there. And what I opened it up to was 3 John, like not John chapter 3, like 3 John. I didn't even really know that was a thing. 3rd John, it's like the 3rd book of John. It's one page of it's only like one chapter. And so I started reading it. And this is what it said. It said, "Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy when some believers came and testified about your faithfulness to the truth, telling how you continue to walk in it. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth." And I took a pause and I read through the rest of the chapter, and I came back to this because one of the things that I think helped me stay focused this past year through the emotional pivots and learnings was the fact that I felt like I had something to say, and I felt like I had a truth to own, and I felt like I had this burning passion welling up inside that I had to acknowledge and that I had to fulfill, or like I had to do something with it. And I wasn't my job to figure out what's going to happen with it. It was my job to speak my truth and to fulfill my truth. And so I love this. So my first word is going to be truth, speaking my truth and connecting with where I feel like I have to take steps, right? So I'm going to read it one more time. "Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy when some believers came and testified about your faithfulness to the truth, telling how you continue to walk in it. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth." So my first word is truth. And then I like that. It's really kind of cool, especially since I just opened up to it. But I also wanted something a little bit more like a picture in my mind, like a story, you know what I mean? And so as I was reading, continued to read, I came upon this story again. And this is one that I believe I'm going to own this next year as well. And it's the story of when Jesus tells his disciples to throw the nets in the water. And they've been fishing all afternoon and getting nothing. And he says, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you'll get some." And they did. And they couldn't haul in the net because there were so many fish in it. This is John 21:6. Jesus said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you'll get some." So they did. And they couldn't haul in the net because there were so many fish in it. All my job is to stay connected and speak my truth, and the truth that I believe the Holy Spirit is stirring up within me. And the rest is up to God. And I am just going to expect that as I continue to cast my net, that there's going to be bigger, more abundance, more connections, that it's going to be bigger and better than I ever could have imagined. And that then because there's going to be so many fish in it. Aw, that's a good picture, isn't it? You're doing the work, but all of a sudden momentum is created and 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore. That's what I know can happen when we speak our truth and when we're doing what God has called us to do. I hope, my friends, that you had an amazing 2018. But if you didn't, believe me, I know what it feels like to feel stuck, to feel sad, to feel angry, to feel resentful. But I also know what it feels like to experience forgiveness, where I forgive and allow that emotional bondage to be broken so freedom can be experienced fully and abundantly. Today is the 100th episode of the Dreamcast, and I would love to offer you a 30-minute coaching call. So go to iTunes and leave a 5-star review sharing with me your favorite episode, one of the things that you've learned and implemented by hanging out with us on the Dreamcast, and then a way to get a hold of you. And I would love to announce the winner next week. Have an amazing day, you guys, and remember to dream big. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I want to hear your aha moment from today's amazing episode. If you could leave a review at whatever podcast player you choose to listen from, Apple Podcast, Castbox, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening from, leave a review and share with us your favorite part of today's episode. Thanks for hanging out, and remember to dream big.